brings all the boys to the yard, and they're like, it's better than yours. Damn right, it's better than yours. I could teach you.
What? Android M's not milkshake? Oh. This is weird. You didn't see anything. Oh hey, didn't see you there. So take a wild guess what we are checking out today. Ta-da! Android M developer preview. So this is something that Google's making a little bit of a tradition. Every year, I guess, at I/O now they're going to start releasing developer previews of the latest version of Android. And I think that's awesome, mostly because it gives developers and OEMs a chance to kind of catch up and get the updates system going. And also for people to give some feedback. This is by no means daily driver material, but it's something cool to try out. So let's go through a couple of the different features that really make Android M, why they matter. This release I can almost guarantee is going to be a 5.2 update, maybe not, we'll see. Only because it's focused more on refining Android as it is. Battery life improvements, which we hear every single year. Improving Google Now, which is going to be really cool. App permissions, which is also really cool. So let's take a look at it real quick. So first things first, if you go from Google Now, you see cards about the screen you were just viewing aren't available in this release. And what that's about is Google Now on tap. And basically what that means is it's more contextual information within the context of the application you're using. So we'll use the example that they used on stage. If you're texting a friend about seeing a movie and you want to see it at XYZ theater, it'll give you information about that as well as playtimes and stuff. So here's obviously a package that I have for my motorcycle. So one of the most frustrating features that's broken, and I understand this is the preview, not meant for your daily driver phone, is this. Nexus 6, which has, the always on listening command. I'm not going to say the words so I don't trigger your phone. Cannot open microphone. It's a little aggravating. But again, this is supposed to be a preview, not for your daily driver device, so we'll let it slide. Actually, if I go to settings, I can't even set it either. And also stutter is a brand new thing too in this preview. But again, it's a preview, it's not the full thing. Lollipop has actually been really smooth for me. So I can try to record, but it won't accept any recordings. It'll just keep saying recording. So anyway, there is Google Now on tap. It's going to be really cool. Honestly, probably one of the biggest features and has the potential to be one of the most revolutionary for Android in a while. So I do want to take a moment. Let's take some silence here real quick, just to appreciate the fact that we finally have what we've asked for. So up here you see your regular volume, nothing special. Tap this and you have tap this and you have toggles for everything else, which have been in ROMs for a little bit, but it's finally being officially put into Android. So you can control your media, your alarms, and then just your ringer. But get this, so you can go down to vibrate, and with one more click, silent mode, it's back finally. The concept that they had in Lollipop 4 was cool, but in implementation it didn't work. So what's neat about here is you can see you have alarms only, and you can turn it off to do not disturb, so nothing at all. And do not disturb, what it literally means is no notifications will make noise, no calls, no anything. So that's really good. It's very useful, especially for myself as a college student. That's good just to stop distracting me. What is cool now, and I've heard it's a little bit broken, it hasn't broken for me though, is you can actually rearrange these toggles, which is really cool. And it's a little minor tweak, but it's just nice to add a little more personality and some more customization into Android M. So if you jump into the settings here, a couple little changes. One, you can see that Google now has its own button. It's a minor thing. I don't believe this was here in anything previously. You can get to this, you just have to go within the Google app itself. So that's new, but nothing really feature-wise new. It's just a new way to get to it. On the topic of backing up and resetting, what is going to be really neat, and I don't believe it's effective now, is you're going to have full app restores, meaning you can jump from phone to phone, and in theory, all of your apps as well as the app's data will transfer over. So it's honestly, Google's a little behind with this for Android because iOS, I believe, has done this for some time now. So where you're playing a game or you have Instagram or whatever, and you shouldn't, I don't believe, have to log in again, or just, it'll basically be how you left off, and that'll make transferring phones or devices or tablets a lot easier in the future. So that's a very, very welcome addition. So if you jump into About Phone, we'll go ahead and we'll get to the Easter egg because you've already seen it, but we'll just do it again. Just shrugs. I actually use that a lot in texting, so for me it's kind of funny. Milkshake is not going to be the name we think. I don't know. The one guy on stage who was wearing an Android Wear watch had a milkshake watch face, and everybody kind of freaked out because they're like, oh my god, this milkshake is going to be the name. Coincidentally, it does seem really too good to be true. I mean, what are the chances that you hop on stage at the Google I/O Developer Conference keynote and you just happen to be wearing a milkshake watch face when the next release we know is going to be M? Whatever, call it conspiracy. I think it's too stupid to really get worked up about. It's a very minor detail, it's just a name. But one of the bigger things that people are talking about is if you go into developer options, which I'll show you in case. If you're watching this, chances are you might know already. You tap the build number, I believe 7 times. You can see I've already done that. Go into developer options and you'll notice this option for themes. And lo and behold, they listen to that too. Now, from what I've seen, it only really affects settings. And personally, this isn't really anything I would like. I don't mind the light background because to me it's more card feeling, but this is definitely going to save you some battery on an AMOLED device, and I get it, some people just like the darker theme, it's cool. And automatic, what I'm going to assume is it'll probably use the ambient light sensors of whatever device you're using, and it'll just detect based off time of day or time of lighting or something, and it will use whatever theme is appropriate for your eyes basically at the time, whatever is least offensive. So I like the white better. What you can do now is if you go into your apps, and you go into advanced, you can now control app permissions, which is another big thing. We wanted this for a while. So you can see which apps have access to your microphone. I haven't used this too much, but there's a surprisingly large amount of apps that have access to my microphone. But let's say that I don't want Chrome, because I don't use Chrome, I use Chrome Beta. Boom, I can just deny access to my microphone for any other app. And what'll be really nice about this is it won't be a bombardment of all the permissions at once. Say you want to take a picture within Facebook Messenger, until you actually click take picture, it won't ask you for permission to use the camera, which is nice, and you can deny or accept it. But in that scenario, you'd want to accept it. So it's not like you download something and then all of a sudden all 12 permissions are going to ask for your acceptance at the same time. Not how it's going to be. If you go into memory, it gives you a good, a decent look at how RAM is affecting each different application, which I think is actually a very nice and useful feature. A little thing that only the more hardcore people are going to use, but I think useful nonetheless. And you can ignore the optimizations. What I'm going to assume this means is for doze. And basically what doze is going to do, it's a new battery optimization that in theory is supposed to about double your battery life. Basically saying that if your device is not in use, contextually based off of the motion of the device, if it hasn't been touched in a while, certain apps will hibernate, if you will. If you've ever used Greenify, then you kind of know what I'm talking about. Or basically just stop running as much in the background. So basically what you're doing is sacrificing a little bit of the freshness of the app or the currentness in favor of some battery life, which I'm all for because there's a ton of apps that run in the background on Android or any operating system anymore that don't necessarily need to be. So that's really, really nice. Outside of that, I mean, it looks and feels the same. It's a little stuttery, like I mentioned. There are some new animations which I've noticed. Like, let's jump into Play Store. If you notice, now it doesn't slide in from the bottom. It'll actually kind of like expand from that point of touch. Which in theory, in the material design world, does make sense. But I gotta say, I kind of liked how it was before. We'll see. I'm not opposed to this necessarily. In the material design world, it makes more logical sense. So I'll give them that. The camera opens up that way. But in a way, it's kind of backtracking because that's how it was before, sort of. It's a little different animation-wise. And then, of course, the begrudged app drawer. Personally, I am not a fan of this, and I know a lot of people that I've seen videos on are not a fan of this either. It's vertical. I'm not a big fan of that. If you think about it, does this make more sense when you're scrolling one-handed? Sure, it probably does. I could just as easily swipe left and right, though. So, logically, this could make more sense. But organizationally, I think it's a little bit uglier, and I really like the alphabetized factor of this, but to me, it's just not as functional as it was before. The search is definitely a welcome addition, so let's say, let's go drive, even though I see it right there. So searching is definitely a welcome addition, but I don't know. I'm not a big fan of this whole vertical drawer thing, and I hope it doesn't stay, but if it does, I think that might be enough to bring me to a different launcher, aside from icon pack support and this and that. So there's a look at that. But really, those are some of the main differences with Android M. This is only the first preview. There's going to be a monthly release cycle. See if I can even find the dialer. There it is. Take a look at that. So again, it looks exactly the same with some new stutter, but this is a preview, not a daily driver. I'm actually about to get rid of it after this video is done because it's truly, it's not daily driver material. It's not supposed to be, but it is neat to see where the future is going to go and you give some feedback, because if people didn't use the preview and say, wow, I don't like this new vertically scrolling apps drawer, then how would they know aside from internal people? It's because they want consumer feedback and developer feedback to boot. So that's all for now. If you have any questions on what comes with it, let's take the case off just to see how dirty my phone is. That's not too bad. If you have any questions about it, I can certainly address them in the comments below. I might make a tutorial on how to install, but I will leave a link down below of what I use to install this. It's a super easy process. If you have any knowledge of ADB or fastboot, it's super easy. And even if you don't, it's still easy to do because the tutorial that I'll link down below is literally step by step. You almost can't mess it up. So that's all. Thank you for watching. Appreciate it as always, and I'll see you later.